to 6 hours times 7 days equals total quantity. That's what we're looking for. Trick is this one. This is just gonna be turned into 4. Does that make sense to everybody? If you're giving it every 6 hours, it's 4 times a day. 24 hours divided by 6 equals 4. 5 times 4 times 7, 140 ml. Tell me if you guys start how many able to see. 1000 ml. Okay, this one I think is like a IV bag, and they're needing to make a bunch of those doses. And they're asking if I need 225 mLs, how many of those can I get out of a 1000 ml bag? And the answer is going to be 8 doses, or syringes, or whatever it is. This may change to 1 liter. This is the same as 1 liter. Same. So if they ask for 1 liter and 125 mLs, convert your mLs and divide. Make sense? Okay. It gives you the 2 milligram per 5 ml, and it's asking that it's needing 120 mLs, or that it has 120 mLs. What is going to be the dose? What's X? On that one, you're going to cross multiply. So you're going to do your 2 times your 120 divided by 5. $48 milligrams. Does that kind of make sense? How to just set it up? Sedona, am I getting too low for you?
No, you're good.
Okay, number 4. This is like a chapter 9 question. You're buying 15 gallon of something for $36.25. You're wanting to know how much of 4 gallons is gonna cost. Again, I set it up just like everything else. Multiply your 4 times your 36.25, divide by your 15. Does that make sense? And you get your X answer, and X equals $9.67. I think this one is like a diarrhea medicine. Comes in the strength of 2.7 mLs of ingredient per 30 mLs. And if the patient's dose is 5 mLs, how many mLs of the active ingredient is going to be in it? Again, cross multiply to get your 45 mLs. 2.7 times your 5 divided by your 30. I don't remember the wording on this one, that they give you 3 of 75, so I don't know how it's worded since I don't have units on this. That might be worded kind of funny, and they're trying to figure out, so how much is in 350 of whatever this is. Again, it's just a cross multiplication. Oh, got it, that's why I wasn't at the end, I have it tablets. So, this is like what they've got, and they're gonna be doing like, I don't know, 3 tablets has 75 milligrams in it. milligrams maybe, I'm making this up. So to get 350 milligram tablets, they're gonna need 14, or milligrams, they're gonna need 14 tablets. Honestly, I think it was worded kind of funny. I think this one was just like dosing digoxin. The vial says 0.2 milligram over ml equals 0.03 milligram. What's gonna be, if this is our dose, this is the vial. What we have, this is desired. Just cross multiply again. Next is gonna be 0.15 ml. This one's just one of the good old furosemide. Remember how they always did furosemide and they leave it in the 20 milligrams per 2 ml. And I can't remember if this is like one that's on your certification exam or not. Don't let them trick you. Knock it down to your 10 milligram per ml. And I think it's asking for how many mLs do you need to get a 30 milligram dose? For 30, you know you're gonna do 3. Does that make sense? If it's 10 in 1 ml for 30 milligrams, it's gonna be 3 ml. So that's one that you should be able to knock it down in your head and not even have to write it down because you can see it. Reduce this to 1 ml, and it says, if I need 30 milligrams, I'm gonna need 3 mLs. Does that make sense? How it's kind of trying to make it complicated, but it's not. This one was another weird milligram per tablets, and how many tablets do you need? So I didn't label it. So basically they give you like milligrams in so many tablets, but you need a dose of like 22 milligrams. So you're gonna figure out, so you just solve So all these questions are worded completely differently, and they're asking for completely different things. But when you break it down and set it up, you're basically doing just ratios over and over and over again, okay? This one's a conversion. You do have conversions. We're going to 350 ml to fluid ounces. Now, if you remember, 1 fluid ounce, 30 ml, right? Does that make sense? So like to set this up, don't let this trick you. It's gonna be your 1/30, which is given right there, so that's your fluid ounce, your X of what you want over your 135. So this is your ml, and this is your ml. Make them on the same bottom. Always put them on the bottom. Cross multiply again. Your X is gonna equal 4.5. Did that kind of make sense? Don't let them get you tricked so you flip them the wrong way. The other thing to remember is fluid ounces is a much larger unit than ml. If you think about it, in your syringe you had 1 ml, fluid ounce is like a shot glass. So keep that in mind. If you're having trouble deciding what to do, your answer should be smaller than fluid ounces. And there's a lot of conversions. I did not write down all the conversions because all you need is your chart and your book, and you can look at that. And your percentage to decimal. Okay. We need a dose of 70 milligrams. Your vial says 20 milligram per ml. So this is 1. This is what you have. That's going to equal course, you're gonna do your cross multiplication. Instead of like this is gonna be over here, or below, sorry, this is gonna be here, you're looking for this. And you get 70 milligrams, you're gonna drop 3.5. And I want you to stop and look at these and see what I mean. Like the 20 milligrams is 1 ml, you need 70, 20, 40, 60, 80, oh, too much. So you know you're between 3 and 4. So kind of look at your answer after you get done, don't just write it down and see if it makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, out of these percentages, which one of those is the highest concentration? It's not a trick question. Don't let it trick you, okay? Highest concentration, highest number. Doesn't matter what this is, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be the highest number. If it's D5S, D50W, it's gonna be the highest number within that. So don't let them screw you up on that. Okay, again, can't remember the question, but it's basically saying that 300 milligrams for 5 ml. And you're asking for a dose is gonna be 15 mLs. How many milligrams is your patient gonna be getting? Again, this is another eyeball. You can cross multiply 15 times 300 divided by 5, or you can just look at it. It's one of those that, you know, this is just 3 times. 3 times 3, 900. Did that make sense? Just looking at this, you know, this is 3 times. So you're gonna take this number 3 times. Or again, cross multiply. Another chapter 9 question. Patient must pay 20% of the cost of his meds. Costs are $12.79, sorry, and $81.24. So if the patient has to pay 20% of the cost of medicine, and this is the cost, you're ringing it up in the register, what does he gotta pay? This total, I think it's 94, got the 3. To find 20%, it's just like making a tip, leaving a tip for somebody. So just looking at it, you know that 940 is 10, but you're gonna cheat, and you're just gonna multiply it times your percentage, 0.20. That's gonna give you what, 1881 if you round up a little bit to make it an even number for him to pay. So this is just your percentage, 0.2 put over 20%, 94. Do these make sense to you guys of how to find 20% of your cost? Some of them are gonna ask to mark it up 20%. So you kind of do the same thing, you figure out your 20%, and if they wanted to say you wanted to pay 20% more, you would add them together. That's another type of question that's being asked. But in this case, we only have to do that. I think there's a bunch of these. 1 gram active. So we've got a bunch of these solution questions. This one is just 1 to 10, means that, how do you change this? This is 1 per 10 ml. They can change it to 1 to 100, 1 to 1,000, you just substitute those numbers where they go. Okay, if we had the 1 to 10, sorry, I'm digressing a little bit, 1 to 10 solution, and they're asking for, 1 to 10, and they wanna know how much is in a liter bag, or 1,000 mLs. This is mLs, and they're asking for grams. This is grams. Remember, whatever this is, it's grams per ml. Does that make sense? So you cross multiply to get that answer, and it's 100. Don't let them trick you when they do this. They change this to milligrams. We've got to switch this one too. So 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. That's one way they're going to catch you. You got to know this is your gram, and it's going to milligram. Okay? So all you got to do is, instead of putting, labeling this, you just add 3 zeros to whatever that number is, which is usually 1. But don't let that catch you up. So I was gonna say, you basically are just gonna run that same question over and over again and sub in 100, 1,000, 1 to 1,000, 2 to 1,000. Just leave it the same and just do the math. Another one of my favorites. We're going pounds to kilograms. I always want my weight in kilograms, so it always gets smaller. So if you're 155 pounds, how many kilograms are you? Your ratio is 1 to 2.2. Anybody have trouble with those? Does that make sense? You're not going to multiply it times 0.2, because that will get you a huge number. You're going to divide it and get 7.45 kilograms. Kilograms is always smaller than pounds, so you know if you've got your 2.2 flipped around, you know how to change that. Okay? Any questions on these so far that I've run over? Okay, equivalencies. They're going to give you some equivalencies and you're going to pick out which one's right. Most importantly, how many teaspoons is in a tablespoon? 3. That's the one that always tricks people up. You know that 1 teaspoon is 5 mLs. But there's 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon is 15 mLs. Tablespoon is the one they always like to catch on, so be careful on that. When you weigh cream, do you do it in liters, grams? It's not liquid, go with grams. Liters is for your liquids. Another conversion that throws people off, 1 pint equals fluid ounce. And this is something why I'd like for you to get in the pharmacy, because if you're actually holding the vials you get to use, you'll know that. It's labeled on the bottle, so you'll get used to seeing that. Injectable solutions, when you're using them in the hospital and you're measuring injectable solutions, you are going to use what measuring device? An IV bag, a syringe, or a cylinder? In a hospital, when you're measuring IV dosages, you're going to use a syringe. You need it to be sterile, and you need it in a small concentration usually, okay? So you're not going to pour anything out in the graduated cylinders. Insulin syringes, units. This is insulin. So it's by units. This is a unit. This is what you're gonna look for. U100 is what on your insulin syringes with a vial. So if you have, this is 100 units per 1 ml. 1 ml is usually the size of the syringe. People will have like 30 units. They will pull up the .30, but the syringes will say actually 30 units on it. If you have a 10 ml vial, how many units are you gonna have in it? This is another cross. If you wanna multiply, you can just figure it out. You're gonna have 1,000 total units in one vial. And that you will need to know while you're calculating your insurance day supply. And, okay, when we're talking about a diluent that you're gonna pour in to a dry powder, that, the diluent that you're pouring in, that is your solvent. So the dry powder is the solute, the water is the solvent, pour them together and you shake them up, and that's your solution or your suspension. So dry particles, wet particles, solvent, solute, put them together, suspension or solution. Okay, on the heparin order, the order is for 10,000 units of heparin. The vial is 5,000 units per ml. How many mLs are you gonna pull up to give this patient? You've got 5,000 per ml, and you're gonna do 10,000, you're gonna drop 2 mLs. You can cross multiply, you can think about that. Just because you see heparin, don't panic, it doesn't mean it's hard. Okay. I think I remember this whole thing right. This is one of the trickier ones that I thought would catch you up. Okay, we're looking for milligram of lidocaine. Doesn't matter what it is, of course. And we've got 1.5 ml of a 2% solution. Okay, so this is your 2 over 100 ml. And this is ml, that's our trick, that's our problem, right there. We've got to fix this one right here first before we do any of that. So to get it in your conversion, you're basically gonna go your times 1,000. So it's gonna move to 2, 1, 2. Nope, sorry, I can't read my own writing. It's 2%. So it's a 0.02% gram. Sorry, percent to gram. Right. 1, 2, 3. 2 grams is 20 milligrams ml times 30 over 1.5 ml. 1, 2, 3. And once we got that, once you had this set up right, I calculated my 30 already. This is my X. So I set it up, the X over 1.5 ml times your 20 milligram over ml. So you gotta get your milligrams out of your grams is what it's doing. And that's how I actually worked it. I went this way to get this. Just watch your units is what I'm trying to say. Keep your units clean. So don't let that scare you and this scare you. All you're doing is breaking it down and it's giving you your equivalency. You just have to convert it. So the answer, sorry, was the 30 milligrams. It looked like just the opposite of what we did up there. So does it bother you when you guys when they give you like the 1 over solution and they want so many mLs for a 600 milligram dose? Like do those bother you at all?
The ones I have a problem with is, I think it was 7 or 6, and it was like, how much solution is there after combining the active with this?
The parts and the total solution?
Yeah, like figuring out the numbers for those questions.
So like, was it, instead of adding it all together, it was leaving you hanging like you had too much or too
Like it was
little?
like, if this is the total solution and this is how much like active ingredient is in it, how much water did you add? Or
You have to go backwards on that too. Once you have your total, you're just gonna subtract the active ingredient part, and that gives you how much water you add. So you gotta be careful and just watch your, like, whatever so I don't have one of those here, but I don't have, it trips you up from your total and you only remove your active ingredients to find out your water. I'll look one up and try to find it. Okay, so something like for this, you're basically just gonna go 30 times your 600, this is your milligrams, and then you're gonna multiply, now you're gonna divide, sorry, everything by your 1,000 milligram, 180 ml. Done. So instead of, so it's in this proportion and then you have it, you move your, I got my, it's all, this is all weight, this one's all weight, sorry. And there's like 3 of those, all you do is just change this number. Set it up over your 1,000. This, I think there's one of them that it says 1,000 ml. It says it's in a 500. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, no, that one's easy. This is all it asks for. So the question is, if you have 25 grams of dextrose and 500 ml IV bag, what percent is it? Your units are fine. So basically you're gonna do 25 divided by 500. Does that give you like your, sorry, I'm doing this one in my head. This is 0.05, or you convert it to a percentage. So your 0.05 goes to 5%. So if it asks for, like, and if it changed this, like this could be 25,000 milligrams in a 500 ml. You have to, if you're going to a percentage, go to grams. That's the trick. Percentage is equal to grams over your ml. That's where you get your percentage part off of it. Remember that? So if you're going to percentage, you gotta use grams, not milligrams. But the test question is easy. It's in grams. So you want 5%, 0.05 or 5%. We're close. We're really close, I promise. Okay. Again, on your flow rate or how long, watch your units. Because 1 liter IV bag, we're gonna infuse it at 50 mLs per hour. Alright, so let's start with a little question. How long, how long will it last? Units, all about units. So this is our rate, this is our amount. You gotta switch it to 1,000 milliliters. I always set everything up in conversion, it's just easier for me to see. Get my divisions right. That's just one, so 1,000 times 1 divided by 50 is gonna get you 20 hours. So the whole trick is just right here. But does that make sense how to just set it up? You've got your rate, you've got your hour. See that? You got 1 liter IV bag to infuse over 50 mLs per hour. How long will it last? Switch it to your 1,000 mLs. You're looking for your hours. You've got 50 mLs per hour. That's your conversion rate, just like would be on the vial. Cross multiply. Infusion rate is the same as an IV flow rate. Percent strength of a D5W solution is 5%. It tells you in the label. D7.5W is 7.5%. Okay, another practice 9 question, which you guys will probably get rid of. Cough syrup. Cough syrup is normally